WATE 6 on your side reporter Whitney Good has been out at the scene all morning long. She joins us now live with what we've learned from firefighters this morning. Whitney.
Good morning, Bo and Tears. As you mentioned, the cause of this fire is still under investigation. One piece of information that I did just learn is that these apartment buildings do not have sprinklers in them. Let's take a look at some of the damage here. You can see this building right here at Countryside Apartments in Seymour destroyed. The second floor of this apartment building is pretty much gone. The bricks have just collapsed to the ground. Good morning, Bo and Gabriella. As you mentioned, both the deputy and that suspect recovering from gunshot wounds this morning here at UT Medical Center. They were brought here last night after that shooting happened around 7 o'clock on No Hill Lane in Strawberry Plains. We were there last night shortly after that happened and have some video from that scene there. Now, the sheriff's office says they got to that home, and sometime during that investigation, the deputy was shot in the arm. The suspect, though, also shot in the shoulder. Deputies were returning fire. Investigators will be back on scene. Will be on scene later today. The FAA and NTSB expected to arrive today. I'm going to step out of the way and show you kind of what we're seeing here this morning. You can see this plane here right in the front yard of one of these homes on Groner Avenue, and also right on top of a car. Now, here's what we know so far. No one on the ground was injured. No one was in that car, so that is some good news. The 3 people on board this plane were taken to the hospital to be treated for injuries, but they were able to get off of the plane. Park rangers say one of the best things you can have on you is one of these maps. On one side, it shows every trail inside the park, and on the other has all kinds of safety information. There are a ton of interactive things for people to do here, like this, which gives you an idea of what it was like for the early astronauts to be inside a capsule.
These are true pioneers.
And I'm still here at the KOA campground. We're in a field just down the hill from all of those campsites. I'll step out of the way and show you kind of what we've seen here. And you can see we've got people, they're starting to pack up now that the eclipse is over. That totality is over, but they had their big telescopes out here. We had cheering when totality was reached, and I have to say, that was pretty much the quickest sunrise I've ever seen. As soon as totality was over, it just lit back up out here, and it was so cool to see. It's really hard to find the words to describe that. I mean, you guys were talking about it, just a moment of, it was awe-inspiring.
Do we look like we're ready to celebrate Oktoberfest? Because we are. That's exactly what's going on here at Ober-Gatlinburg. All over the place out here. They have got it decorated. They've got souvenirs you can buy. This is Kate Bardo here with me from Ober-Gatlinburg. And Kate, just kind of tell us a little bit about what we can expect out here for Oktoberfest.
Well, this is one thing you can expect.
10 patties, 10 slices of American cheese, white bun. So it's a whole lot of Mooyah goodness.
It is a whole lot of Mooyah goodness. I'm going to take a bite of this here. We have challenged ourselves to see how much of this we can eat, and I already know I'm going to leave Dave hanging here in just a little bit. But besides this burger eating contest, y'all have a lot going on today for customers coming in, right?
Yes.
Hey, Bo and Tirsa. Well, if you're like me and you love Christmas, it does not get any better than this. And I think I have narrowed it down to my favorite tree. I'm going with this one right here, made by Cribs Dental Care. It's beautiful. I mean, you gotta love that.
New here at 6, WATE 6 on your side reporter Whitney Good joins us now with more on the history behind this song that we all know and love. Whitney.
Oh yeah, who doesn't know and love Rocky Top
Don't make
Lawyer
me
and
sing
Kristen?
it. Yeah.
Please do.
Don't make her sing. Don't make her sing.
Well, it was written in just a matter of minutes at the Gatlinburg Inn, August 28, 1967, and that is where they are celebrating what a phenomenon the song has become.
Well, now we have a story completely different. It's a story about a young woman who went into labor on the night of the fires. She was able to escape all the chaos and delivered her baby safely. Well, Whitney Good has a story with that young woman and her baby named Blaze.
Matthew.
It's the first time they've told their story publicly. Autumn and Billy Bales sitting down with me, baby Matthew, on Dad's knee. Aside from his big curious eyes, it's his middle name that stands out the most. The baby most call Blaze.
He's a fire baby.
Rewind 6 months ago, Monday, November 28th. Autumn, 9 months pregnant, set to be induced the following Sunday. They woke up to their city engulfed in smoke.
You can't even see anything.
Autumn sending us this video early in the day.
It was so bad right in this area.
Green, brown, orange, pink, any kind of color.
My eyes are burning.
They tossed around the idea of leaving town, heading to Billy's grandparents' house a few miles down the road.
And I was watching the fire come up and take the phone tower.
A couple hours later, they were evacuated from there, making it out, Autumn knowing the next morning she needed to see her doctor.
They couldn't get my blood pressure her down.
Because of the stress of everything going on around her, Autumn was admitted here to LeConte Medical Center because her blood pressure wouldn't stop going up. It wasn't long after that they told her she was in labor.
Everybody was talking. Gallenberg was, you know, like gone. Like for days while I sat in labor with him, it was not my focus.
38 hours later, on December 1st, among the chaos and aftermath of the fires, their baby boy was born. The couple, knowing his story was special, naming him Matthew Blaze Lee Bales.
He was born into chaos.
For those around him, his name is a lifelong reminder of the glimmer of hope he was on that chaotic night that brought him into this world.
You know he's something special because he kind of brought joy into people's lives that day.
What a wonderful story from Whitney.
Coyotes seem to be a growing nuisance here in East Tennessee, even in urban areas.
In fact, TWRA saying they receive more calls about coyotes than any other wildlife species, and several of you have reached out to us as well to tell us about this. WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Whitney Good is looking into how common these animals really are, how close they are to us, and what you can do to keep your family and your pets safe.
It was just walking at their own pace, not running fast, feeling very comfortable.
An unusual sight.
Feeling very, very comfortable out there.
Galia Ritter and her neighbors spotting this creature just feet away from the back door, carrying its prey.
It was not at all afraid. It was a little bit spooky.
What seems even more unusual, her neighborhood, a busy one, right in the middle of Fountain City.
So it seems to me that they are less and less afraid of us.
She's not alone. Posts flooding social media about coyotes spotted in urban areas. So I took her photos and concerns to the University of Tennessee wildlife biologist Chris Graves.
Yeah, so this appears to be a large male coyote. And this is pretty common where an animal has taken a house pet.
Pretty common, in fact, to see coyotes all around the area.
People tend to be surprised when they see them, but really don't be. We're talking about one of the most opportunistic animals, wildlife species that we have in the United States.
They spread east across most of the country, food driving these animals into our neighborhood, dining on whatever is convenient.
Garbage, and not only that, but they'll also eat free-ranging pets.
But experts say you should not necessarily be afraid of them. The Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency says only 30 attacks on humans have ever been recorded. You should keep an eye out for Fido, though.
We need to take care of our pets and make sure that everybody knows that what's happening out there.
But at what point should you be concerned enough to take action?
When you start seeing them more than once, twice a week, on a regular basis, especially if you have pets, cats, something like that, then it's time to start looking into doing something to get rid of them.
Doug Ash with Classic Wildlife Control gets multiple calls a week looking to remove coyotes.
And it's set and ready to go.
Ash started getting calls from this apartment complex in West Knoxville about a coyote that had been hanging around. The problem is that it was getting brave enough to start approaching people's porches. That's when it's really a concern.
Basically, we start out coming out and doing an assessment and evaluation of the area, see what the area looks like, see if we see any patterns that they would be using.
They bait and wait. It could take weeks to trap one coyote.
Coyotes are one of the hardest animals that we have.
But the reality is these animals are here to stay, and in many cases we just need to learn to live among them.
There's a lot of wildlife species that are very adaptable.
Nature is beautiful, but we need to be careful.
In Knoxville, Whitney Good, WATE 6 on Your Side.
Now, depending on the laws and regulations where you live, it might be okay to actually kill a coyote anytime you see one.
Yeah, there is no regular hunting season for them. Now, some of the things you can do to keep them from approaching your home are obviously don't feed them, get rid of any standing water sources, and position bird feeders so coyotes can't get to the feed. Also, don't discard edible garbage.
Yeah, we have more tips on our website for you, everyone, WATE.com. Just look for this story under the As Seen On section.